Right, in today's video, we'll show you how we overcome plastering this ceiling with the curve, without having to round the curve and the bonding, and the customer had already boarded the ceiling. Anyway, this is what I'm going to show you in today's video. Now, as a little disclaimer, because I have been pre-warned, I've got to give you a little disclaimer at the start. My dad taught me to plaster. See me trowel? Look at the back of this. Scruffy. Look at this, water bucket. Scruffy. Look at me, with plaster on me. Scruffy. My dad has got an OCD and he wants to make sure that one thing is clear. When I worked for him, when I served my apprenticeship, everything was immaculate. Now that being said, I'm all about just getting the job done and getting it done mint. I don't spend time polishing my bucket, but I have to just put that in there, okay, because he's getting agitated with me because he's saying, no, I taught you, and look at the messy bucket you work out of. There you go, Dad. There you go, Dad. I love you. Right, bit of an interesting little job here because I've never actually met the customers we're working for today. So we've just turned up. I've sort of priced it over the phone, which is a bit crazy of me. But, you know, you get people phoning you up from time to time and they send me a little picture, said, we've got this little ceiling, can you do it for us? So anyway, here we are. Now the customers are on holiday, so I've just turned up to this little bedroom ceiling. There's 1, 2, 3. There's about 4 boards in it, so it's not a big ceiling. But it's got this interesting little curved bit. Now, I didn't even look properly on the picture, but this curved section here, it was missing this little strip. These strips were cut ready for it. I thought it was all done, so we had to just screw these little strips in. And now there's another little interesting part. Sorry, the light's right on the screen. We've got this where it ends, and it used to go into a curve, but we're going to put that square in. But now we've got this little gap here that we've got to deal with because it's not straight all the way down. If you can see down there, it goes up. So we've got to do something like that. I'm going to put another little piece of plasterboard on the bottom here and finish it to the wall. So didn't really account for this, but you know, it is what it is. We've got to fix it and get the job right. But look at this. The whole house is like this. The whole house. I think I've just saved these people a fortune. Watch this, look. Hands, okay. Look at that. That is everywhere. Every single room. Everywhere it's like that. It's been, the whole house has been lime washed. And I can see this, the fellow that's doing this, you know, he's been doing a little bit of plastering himself. See down in there, he's been doing a little bit himself, and he must have decided that he's had enough, and he's just going to phone the guys in to do the real plasterers to do the ceiling, so to speak. And I'm sure that's because he's been struggling trying to plaster over this lime wash paint. If you don't know, this stuff causes plaster to fall off. So I think I've just saved his life. I've just messaged him, he's away on holiday, I've just messaged him and let him know, look, this can be easily fixed by just putting some stabilising solution, paint that on all the walls, and your problem has gone away forever, you know. You can just stabilise it and you're good to go. The belly's been getting bigger again. Since it hurt me knee and I can't go to the gym, I've just been pigging out. Now my belt feels like it's cutting circulation off. Right, what we're going to do now, before we can get skimming this, we want to go as quick as we can. We need to put a little strip in there, and it needs to look straight for the ceiling to finish square into the wall. Because obviously I can't blend into the wall, because we've got flipping lime wash paint, haven't we? And I'm sure he's going to want a separation between the ceiling and the wall. So we're going to put a nice little strip of plasterboard now to go in there. And because we didn't account for it, we haven't got any board. So we're just going to have to use the leftover bits of what these guys have already got. What's the distance there? Nice. 2.5 inch strips. There we go. Put a nice sharp new blade into this. Look at the windows. Look at them. Yeah, they're great. Look, do you know what wouldn't be ace to fully restore this house back to its former glory? Oh, screwed. Now, next thing we're going to do is we want the ceiling edge to end perfectly straight. So if we had our chalk line with us, then we'd chalk line it, but I haven't. So instead, I'm just going to put a spirit level up and put a nice level line straight across that we can then work down to with our strips of plasterboard that I've already cut. Look, it's like Blue Peter, some I made earlier. Now I want this to just land just in where the cove is, nice and level. There we go. You see now how that runs out. You see the thickness there, you know, what is it there? 3 inch. Inch and a quarter, so we've got to do something like that. Oh, there's another tip here as well. Buy yourself a pink tape measure. Keeps the thieves away. I want to get rid as much as I can of any big gaps and lumps. So I want the plasterboard to fit nice and snug onto that line there, like so. So that's where it's going to go there. And what I'm going to do now, hold that in place and just put a little slice in that board. That's what needs to come off that board. Rather than trying to cut these down to the right size, it's easier to keep all these the same, but just fit them to that level line and trim anything above to what it needs to be. And notice I've chamfered the back of the boards so that this just fits nice and tight to the wall, or just, you know, tighter, better, you know, a better fit. See what I'm doing? Just chamfering the back of the board so it fits nice to the wall in that curved section, because we're going to take it from a curve to a nice sharp angle. Does that make sense what I'm doing? The channel that I'm trying to put these plasterboards in runs out, goes from 3 inches to 1.5 inches. Now I could cut all these little strips of plasterboard on a slope, but it's so much more difficult because as well as that I'm trying to chamfer the back of the edge so they fit to the wall tight. So what I'm going to do is cut the plasterboards the same size, offer them up, and then trim the plasterboard that runs out. In case you thought you heard a little baby make a murmur then, he did. My little son is terrorising me. I'm trying to edit this video and he won't keep quiet for 2 minutes. You could just slice and slice and slice with your knife and do that, but it takes a bit longer and I'm a bit lazy, so this comes in really handy. There, nice and snug, like so. See, nice and sharp our line across the bottom there. That'll fit in just nice. Last little piece to go in here now. Just going to shave this, and Kieran shaved the back of this one with his teeth. He's been gnawing on it like a hamster. I'm only messing. It works. It does the job. Beautiful. Now, under there, a little bit. Oh. To be fair, the customer has done a lovely job at finding all the joists and putting them boards up nice and tight and properly. So, I've never met this fella. He's potentially a builder. and he's done quite a nice job. This was in outer level, but even still, you know, none of it's moving. It's all done nicely, so fair play to him. Fair play to him. I've never met him, but I like him. Oh. Pretend you didn't see me drop that screw. Okay, let's get this scrimmed up and we're good to go. Look at this. My mate sent me his prototypes. I'm probably still not allowed to talk about this yet, but you know, half time, Plaster Accelerator, the same guy's going to be bringing some fancy scrim. Bit wider, so it's good if you've got big joints that you want to try and get over, but it's not too wide. Very, very sticky, and scrim rings aren't an issue. He set out to try and make the best quality scrim he possibly can, so all good stuff. Now, look where the scrim is. This might seem obvious to lads that have been plastering for years, but the amount of people I see messing around with scrim, trying to like cut it like this with the fingers and everything in the way. Might seem dead simple, but trust me, just get a piece the size that you want, put it between your legs. You can't go wrong doing that. You can't cut it off, and you just walk around with it there as well. So, not trying to teach you how to suck eggs. I just don't want to see you trying to scrim, trying to do all this and slicing your fingers with a brand new blade. Just tuck it between your legs there. Done. I mean, you can cut it on the ceiling if you really wanted to, but it's just more awkward when you put in the scrims to the ceiling lines. You know what, I'm just looking out the window before we mix up now, and it's lashing down outside. I'm actually made up, so I'm halfway through rendering a house, smooth, rubbed up finish, you know, flat finish, floated finish, whatever you want to call it. You know, we're doing an external rendering job, and it was forecast bad weather today, like lashing down, like meant to be torrential rain. So we called it off. And my mate who's been helping me do it, he flies to Turkey tomorrow, so it sort of left me stuck because we've got a big wall to do, and it helps having, you know, two plasterers on it. Well, anyway, we didn't bother doing it. So this morning I got up and it was just overcast, and all morning it's just been like the perfect weather to do it, and I've been thinking, oh, I've been praying for it to rain. Anyway, here it is, now it's raining, so now, you know, sort of feel justified for not going and coming and doing this little ceiling instead, so I feel better. Feel happy that it's raining. Sorry anyone that's working outside, but I've been doing the rain dance in my back garden this morning, trying to make the heavens open. Now then, what have we got here? The multi-finish. This stuff was already here, so we're just going to use what's already been left for us, but as you know, I'm normally a board finish man myself, but I'll use anything. As long as he can mix it in that bucket, I'll use it. Get it mixed, lad, get it mixed. Look at the state of the back of this. Now, the business side needs to be nice and clean and sharp, but the back of it, I mean, so some fellas take these in at night and soak them, you know. They look really nice, all nice and shiny on the back. I mean, this is carbon steel, so this would just be like a black colour on the back of it. You know, it'd be like that, patina, I think they call it, like that all over the back. But can you imagine me? Imagine me sitting in the bath with me flipping trowel soaking away down the other end near the plug. No. I haven't got time for that. You can soak your tools if you want and they'll look lovely, but I'm too busy. I haven't got time. Multi-finish. I usually use board finish, but here's the deal with multi. It is actually nicer to use, it's creamier, it trowels up nicer, but it takes longer to go off. Puts about another half an hour on your mix, I find. Now, some fellas maybe trowel up a bit sooner. I just find to get the polish on it that I like, it takes a bit longer. Because it keeps coming back, you know, the more you work it comes back fatty again, so. Anyway, let's begin. Now, I can still see the level pencil line just below where that board is. That's where I'm going to work down to. Little tip for you. We haven't built this cove out. So when you put this in, make sure you don't put it too thick in the cove because you'll get a little belly. You'll end up with a little belly like mine in your plastering. You don't want that. Keep it nice and tight. I took the screws out that light fitting to pull it down, but the wires were really tight, like it wouldn't budge. It was like stuck to the ceiling because the wires were that tight, so I don't know who fitted that. Maybe Houdini, the electrician. But anyway, I ended up coming back and just getting me trowel and just tucking it in tight behind it. So I did actually plaster behind that light fitting all nice and neat. It was at this point I started thinking to myself, this multi-finish is horrible to use. So we checked the date on the bag and it was still in date, but only by a couple of days. It was really horrible to use, to be honest with you. Now normally, it's lovely to have all this pre-rounded in with some bonding, but the shape's not too bad with the plasterboards. I've managed to get it quite close. And it is possible to just do it finish, but it's very important that you keep it really tight. If you start putting this on too thick, then you'll start getting bulges and stuff in it, so it is important to keep that. If you're not going to use bonding and you've got a bit of a slope, then keep it as tight as possible. Now, underneath this curve, the scrims that run along, guess what I haven't done? Kim? What have I not done with those scrims?
Crossed them.
Yes, yes. Tell the internet points to Kim. Don't overlap your scrims, especially in coves, because if you put a little bit too much weight on and you don't press the stuff in enough or anything, and it decides to fall out, it'll pull the scrim with it. If you've overlapped all your scrims, I've done it in the past, you end up stood in the middle of the room with just scrim wrapped all around your head, covered in plaster. And then you've got the ceiling going off, you've got to try and re-scrim it, the stuff set it off. Just trust me, don't overlap your scrims ever, especially in coves. Not too bad on the main section in the middle, because it doesn't normally just decide to drop off, but if it's going to drop off, it will drop off in the cove. Or something, it's better than nothing, isn't it? So,
Yes.
caught me talking about money. Oh. We have got a spot board and stand. People always say, oh, use a spot and stand, it's easier. The problem is your cameraman. It's just another journey back into the van for him. So we'd rather see an old man struggle scooping out of the bucket because he can't be bothered to go and get the spot and stand.
Yes, correct.
Oh. Oh, what's happening? He's caring straight on it. Now look, the joint of the board goes that way. If I cut the scrim that way, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's just like the scrims, it's like two pieces of scrim butted up to each other. Gone. Another one. No. Problem solved. There you go, stay out the angle, draw back, forward, take a bit, tighten to the angle, no mess. Again, stay away from the angle, put it out, go back, take a little bit, go in neat to the angle. Beautiful. Oh, I'll tell you what, this stuff is just like sloppy, greasy. Well, I don't know what's happening there. Dropped a blob on myself as well. Like I've been shot. Oh, come on, back. On we go. Oh, oh. So, back in the day, when I was in my 20s, on the building sites, you know, first mix of the day will be on for about 7 AM. We'll be putting it on at 7. I usually used to get with the security guards on the site, you know, go and become his best mate. And the site wasn't really meant to open until 8 o'clock, but I'd always get in there at 7, me and my lads, and we'd get the first mix of the day on. And I'd go through and put all the ceilings upstairs in the house in one go, you know. I'd put all the ceilings on. The lads would be, you know, attacking the walls in bedrooms and bathrooms, and 3 mixes a day. We'd do the upstairs of a house, 3 of us in a day. And we skim it down, you know, skim a whole house in 2 days. Why anyone would want to work like that, I don't know. There he is in action. He's having a little go with the stuff. Now, just start away from the angle a bit, mate, because I noticed you go in the angle loaded up. Start away a little bit, that's it. Slow down. So, don't go mad, just take it nice and easy. Now take a bit and go into the angle. That's it, come on. That's it, don't go over the same spot too much, just get it on, lay it on. Away from the angle. Perfect. Oh. It's okay. A little bit less edge when you're pulling out. That's it. Lovely. Don't worry about going too fast, just take your time. And then if there's a little gap up the edge of the board there, you have to squidge a bit of plaster up there, because otherwise it will drop out. So when you get up into that angle there, see there's a little gap up behind the board, push some stuff up into it. Just so it holds, you know, so it holds the scrimming. Okay. That's it, push more up in there. Do you like my trowel?
It's alright.
Not as good as yours.
No.
Your one's faster, isn't it? That's it. That's it. Not too much edge, you want to make sure you're putting it on, not scraping it off. Once you've got that little bit filled in there, go back and just push more up into that board though, okay?
Yeah.
Don't worry about dropping any, it's alright.
I haven't.
We'll scrape it up. Just don't get any in that beautiful hair. Right, go back over there again now, and just push some more back up in, just where that screw is, just push it in. That's it, push more up in there, push it up. Fully fill out that angle, that's it. Yeah, you take over this camera, and I'll show you what I mean. There we go, swap hands. First off, I'm just trying to keep the back edge of that trowel nice and clean. Less stuff on the back of there means less mess on the walls. Just take a little bit from this. What we've got here is there's a little gap up behind that scrim there. It's just that, see, you can just push that in and out. So, what we want to do is, first of all, push the scrim nice and tight, square into the angle. Take a bit of gear. I'm just pushing it up. I'm just feeding plastic up into that void there. But look how fast I go. Just nice and steady. No erratic movements. Nice and steady. Push it up in there. Lovely. The good thing about using multi-finishes, you've got plenty of time to work with the stuff. Pushing it up. I'm applying quite a lot of pressure there. I'm really pushing up. I'm pushing up with about as much pressure as what it would take to hold the plasterboard up there. Imagine the board wasn't screwed up, I'm applying a similar sort of pressure just when I'm pushing stuff up into that angle. Now you don't have to do that everywhere, but where there's gaps where the board doesn't meet the wall perfect, that's where you want to be pushing up there. Now, what I am doing, there's still a bit of stuff left over from the first coat. This little slope in the section, the wall's not 100% flat, so the angle doesn't look perfect, so I'm just adjusting it by eye to get it looking as good as I possibly can. And I'm using this stuff that's left here to give it another little coat over, just to get it somewhere closer. And then when we mix up for the second coat, I'll go over this again. So we're going to give this a bit of time to pick up in the meantime. So technically that's going to end up getting 3 coats, but you know, anything to make the job nice. You want it to look perfect. You don't always have to do this. It's just because if I didn't have any of that left over, I probably wouldn't be doing this. But I've got a bit of stuff there left, so I'm just going to make it a bit nicer. Just building it out a bit more. Just in case you're wondering, this is, you know, it's gone off a little bit. It's not sticking to my fingers, you know. So that, it's not wet. I wouldn't be able to use it if it was soaking wet. Here we go. I had half a bag of board finish in the van. Now, I'm going to use that half bag to second coat rather than opening another full bag of multi-finish. And there's a benefit to this. I prefer board finish. I don't want to spoil a fresh bag because I don't know whether this fella's going to use it soon or what, I don't know. So we're going to use the board finish. It trowels up nicer. Yes, you can combine these. You can put the first coat on in board finish, you can overlay it multi-finish, whatever. It doesn't really matter, you can mix and match. All it is, multi-finish is creamier and keeps going back. Board finish is going to set faster and you can polish it sooner, you get the job done quicker. So I prefer to put the second coat on in board finish because it'll bring it down nicer. For me, I prefer it. And I must admit, this multi-finish we're using, it's a bit greasy, a bit slimy. I don't really like it. Now, if you're a beginner, you probably won't even notice the difference. But when you've been doing it a while, you get a feel for it. It's the best way of me describing it is, it's like trying to smooth out like wet sand, like the water separates from it. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like clay, like mud, whereas I want it to be like whipped cream. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna give this now another 10 minutes to pull in, and then we'll mix some board finish up and get it second coated. Oh, I'm showing you new ones, aren't I? You've all done that one, haven't you? All the kids all love that one. Right, anyway, enough playtime. So I'm going to start second coating this now. Because I went over and put another coat over that coved section, I'm not going to go over that instantly again. So I'm going to start where I left off and go right round and leave that, you know, a little bit longer till I put the rest of the ceiling on, and then nip over it with the board finish. Oh my word, that stuff is so much nicer to use. It just comes off the trowel nicer. Now, that's not always the case. Different batches of plaster are different all the time. Sometimes your board finish can be horrible to use, and some, you know, it swings and roundabouts. I remember years ago, like 20 years ago, all the plaster was lovely. It was just gorgeous to use all the time, especially multi-finish. Oh, I'm off again. I've got my sea-legs. Multi-finish was like whipped cream all the time, whereas, I don't know, it's just hit and miss all the time. Now I do get people asking me as well, do I flatten the first coating before the second coating? I don't, but I put it on fairly neat, you know, there's no big lines in it. I mean, that's probably got the biggest lap. Look, I might just do that, flattened it, done. If you can lay the first coat on really neat, there's not really much need to flatten it in. If you watch how I do Artex ceilings, I flatten that in. Suppose it's a bit of a different purpose, but even still, you know. Now, one other thing as well, I've got a load of new subscribers on my YouTube channel, so in case you're watching thinking, he's getting up and down that trestle awfully awkward and he keeps falling off it. Has he had a few beers? I wish I had a few beers. I've torn my ligament in my knee, my crucial ligaments in here, my ACL, so getting up and down is, I've had to adapt. I've found a new way of doing it so it doesn't hurt, which just makes me look a bit awkward, but you know, that's the only reason why. You know, being self-employed, you get a wonderful sick pay package, 0, so you end up still working. Got a little tip for you, come in close, Kate. Come in a bit closer, come in closer. Now, when you're loading your trowel up, your gear, it's in the centre of the trowel, yeah? Well, ideally, you want the full length of your trowel buttered up, so to speak. So, take it from the bottom. I mean, I've only got a little trowel, so it doesn't really make much of a difference to me. But if you're one of these guys with a big 18-inch trowel, like I used to, you'll end up with bad wrists and you'll have to have something small like this. But in the meantime, when you load your trowel up, take it from the back corner and put it along the full length of the trowel like that. And you'll get a lot better coverage like that. So you're basically taking the stuff diagonally off the board. The trowel runs diagonally across the hawk or the handboard to fully load up the full length of the trowel. Makes a big difference on big trowels. That's it now, on the final little stretch, just coming, it's all been second coated. We're just going to come down that section now and put a second coat, which is technically a third coat over this cove part. Again, just iron that line as straight as I possibly can as well. I think it looks perfectly straight, just needs a little bit more here. It needs to come down the wall a little touch more there. So I'll do that now. Keeping it nice and tight in the curves. Oh, watch you don't fold the screws up. But in the curves, you always want to go 2 ways. I'm not just pulling out that way. And if you want to know how firm that is, I can leave indentations in it. I can mark it with my finger, but it's not sticking to me. Right. So if you can touch the plaster and it doesn't leave indentations with your finger easily, then the plaster is setting too quick and you need to get a wiggle on and go a bit faster because you're losing it. Now, if when you touch the plaster, it's still sticking to your finger, it's too wet to put another coat on just yet. Kieran's packing the mixing stuff away. That's it, Kieran. You're carrying yourself well. Move with intention. Shoulders back, head up. Lovely. You filming?
Yeah.
Oh. Just want to start picking my nose. Right, anyway, this is it now. Start flattening it. You always want to try and reach back as far as you can. Don't think about these stressfuls now. Once you know the length of it, you're going to start and you can take a step back, you know. You always want to reach them to at least the centre of the ceiling, if you can. If you can. Now, my old fella, he would want room plank out. I can't even get Kieran to carry the spot board up here, so he's not going to want to carry 10 planks up here instead either. And to be fair, the old, this is like doing step aerobics on the old day, you know, so that's how I keep such a great physique. Be up and down, up and down. Now, I just can't explain everything about skimming in one video, so that's why I'm making quite a few of them, because there's always more things to sort of cover. And as well, not only that, if you did manage to condense everything and put absolutely every single thing that I could imagine to talk about skimming into one video, how much could you retain? So I think the only way really is to just make different videos in different situations and go over different topics, you know, different bits and bobs. So now that's the first flattening in done. Flattened. Got a bit of first wet trowel, second wet trowel, and a polish. Now, you know the process. Not much is going to change. The only thing I might do differently is brush the cove a little bit, but we'll just see. We'll just see. Now, same technique as usual, just give it a little brush on the edge. Now, watch where the end of your trowel is there. See the little line that leaves there? I'm not going to go back in there. Look, that's where it was. I'm just going to slightly overlap it there. Just slightly overlap where it was. That way, you can just take it nice and steady and still get across your ceiling quite fast. Filming.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to get ready for school back in the day? You know, imagine them back in like, I don't know, 30s or 40s, and your flipping arm of your blazer touches the wall and you get a big white patch on you. Oh, I don't know how they survived with lime wash paint on the walls. That must have been absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
Right, come in here now. I want to see this. Come right in here. I'll see this now. This join's lovely to the wall here. Get right up on the side so you can see the angle of it. Right, that's tight to the wall. Now, that's a lovely finish, but we've got this scrim. Now, I'm assuming, I might be wrong, that these walls are getting skimmed. As I said, I haven't even met this fella in person, we're just doing the job for him. But everywhere else in the house looks like it's been re-skimmed, so whether this room is going to get skimmed or not, I don't know. But I do know we've got to come back and do other bits. So, you've got two options here with this scrim. Well, you've got three options actually. I'm leaving it there because I'm assuming that he's going to have the walls skimmed, in which case that's perfect. If they're not getting skimmed, it might be a case that when we do another ceiling for him, I just nip in here and patch this up around the edge. Obviously this stuff needs stabiliser solution and then sealing, and I'll blend that into nothing. Or the third option is, which I don't really like, but it's still an option, is you get a very sharp stand knife and just cut the excess scrim off, because that actually, now, if this wall isn't getting plastered and that's it, that bit of scrim there is doing nothing. The only thing that's actually doing anything is inside the plaster. So you could just go around with a very sharp stand knife and cut it off. And if you nick the ceiling a little bit, you can do it when it's wet and brush the plaster in, or you can go around with a bit of decorator's cork and go right around the edges and just cover over where you've cut it off. Then that's the third option. It's not the best option, but you know, you never know what situation you find yourself in. That's it, polished, done. Another one bites the dust. Right, hope you enjoyed that. If you've watched any number of my videos, you'll know I try and jam-pack them with as many tips and tricks and bits of information as possible. Now, if you're a tradesman, I want to help you a little bit more. If you're in any trade and you would like me to show you how to generate non-stop work so the phone never stops ringing for work for you, I can show you how to close literally 95% of the jobs that you go and look at, so you're not wasting your time running around looking at jobs for no reason. Also, I want to show you how to get your earnings up. If this sounds good to you, there's a link in the description. Okay, click on the link and we can get on a phone call and I'll assess if I'm going to be able to help you. Now, I'm sure I can, but I like to qualify people and make sure that they're a good fit first. So there's a link in the description for that. I have a social media system. I show you how to leverage Google, show you all sorts of things that we can do with other tradespeople, how to fully leverage the power of the internet to flood you with work. So there's that much work coming in. It's very easy to start increasing your prices. Really simple system. Links in the description. Cheers, guys.